So after screening interviews, some firms will invite students and interviewees to receptions or dinners, and they're similar to if you went to any of the 1L recruiting receptions. They're similar to those. The interviewers will all be there. It's not still part of, it's not an ongoing interview, but it is still, as Dan said, it's all about fit and bringing someone on as a team member who fits in the firm. So in that sense, I think that you still are being evaluated at them. You want to, it's another opportunity to show up and to show that you're engaged and interested and invested in the firm.
I think the only supplemental point that I would make about receptions is we too realize like how exhausting this time and what the opportunity cost that comes at the 2 hours that you invest in a reception, and not to mention the 5 or 6 invitations that you receive. You're still students. You have a lot to do. You have lives to ramp up as 2Ls. The only caveat that I would add is to say, you know what, this is the time to dig deep, because there's a window of opportunity that sort of is prime, which is closing shortly. So the more opportunity you have to throw yourself into kind of this cross flow of information, I think receptions sometimes give you a chance to discover new criteria by which to compare firms and compare practice areas and people that you're not always going to get. So you are likely to learn something from a reception that you can sort of run with, that's going to be valuable to you in future decision making, as well as in future interactions that you're going to have at other receptions. Mm-hmm. With respect to follow-up after interviews and the making of decisions on callbacks and things, my one line is always, one should never mistake administrative delay with enthusiasm toward your candidacy. Students don't always know how much is going on from the firm side during the OCI process. So oftentimes an interviewer is going from 20 interviews in Lauder straight to the Acela to do another 20 interviews, be that in Ithaca, New York City, or Washington, D.C. As far as what students can do, I think the first thing would be take a breath. Give us a break to realize that things are happening on a conveyor belt that's very, very fast for us as well, and so, sort of reach out, although with a light touch. Your brain can go in circles all the time as to whether there's a wait list, or are they giving callback offers to people that they're most enthusiastic about first. There are things within your control and things that are not within your control. So and also not within our control. So give it a beat. It is okay to check back and reaffirm your interest in a particular firm, but I think using your common sense, you should know that using a light touch when it is that it can come off as off-putting versus an affirmation of I remain very, very interested in the firm. The only other thing I would add is oftentimes decisions are made quickly, or certainly as quickly as possible. So sometimes you also have to roll with the punches and sort of move on and invest your resources elsewhere after you've done your double check in with I want to make sure whether a decision has necessarily been made.
I think the approach after a screening interview, the best approach is that a thank you note is not necessary. I think that even for the interviewers as well, they see so many students that would be a lot of thank you notes for them to receive. So it might end up being, more of a, what's the word? Not an annoyance, but they get a lot of them.
Annoyance is okay.
With a callback, you have, those interviews are longer, you have conversations that are more in depth, and presumably you've connected more than you did in the screening interview. So I think after a callback, if you want to reach out and say thanks for your time, appreciate your consideration, and just to reaffirm your interest in the firm based on what you heard in the interview. I think that was appropriate, and that's the approach I took. Hospitality tables are they're tables set up outside of the interview room that are normally staffed by someone from recruiting or maybe associates from the firm. And they're around, someone is around most of the day, and they're pretty much there just to chat, answer questions. They have firm swag. They're there, I think, again, so that you can get a sense of the firm and a little bit more contact with more people at the firm. It's nice when the hospitality tables have associates, because that's just another way that you can do your research and sort of differentiate between firms. They're nice too because the people who are staffing the hospitality tables know the interviewers. So, to the extent you just say, oh, my interviewer is so-and-so, let them maybe give you their little blurb about them. I wouldn't ask too many questions about your interviewer because, they're handling other things. But it's just it's a way to get context and to put more faces with the firm.
With respect to hospitality tables, Lauder is an ideal setup for interviewing. You guys are very lucky to have that space to afford yourself maximum interaction and maximum efficiency and such. I think the reality of hospitality tables is we want you guys to be your best during your interviews. So if there are last minute questions, clarifications that our associates or our recruiters can provide, they're there to be meant as a resource. They're not necessarily there meant to be a lounge for you. There could be off-putting interactions, and you should be on your best behavior just generally during the interview process. But just be conscious and feel out the vibe of both how long you've been at a hospitality table, or whether you're monopolizing the time that people might be spending with other folks. It is use your best judgment essentially. But please realize that everything in the OCI process is designed for you guys to be your best. And if that can be a soft pretzel or a quick conversation to shake off the nerves with someone who happens to work at the firm, that's what it's designed for. Just lead with empathy and realize that we're cheering for you guys to do well.
And I'll just piggyback off of that, one other word of caution that I learned when going through the interviews at Lauder. It's a small space, and even a comment made in conversation to one of your classmates, it can travel, and it's a small world, so a lot of these attorneys know each other. So to the extent you want to talk about your interviewer or the interview generally, do it away from hospitality tables and lawyers who are there to interview.